Hello and welcome back to the Perth to Paisley podcast, episode number 144. As we release this, it's Halloween, so obviously Hearts were hoping to get some lovely treats at Ibrox. However, no, it was very much just tricks. I am, as ever, devilish Daniel McIver, and I'm joined by, I'll be honest, I've not planned this. I can't think of a descriptive word that begins with Adam Kennedy. There he is. Hi. Don't just laugh. Don't just laugh at that.
I think it's more when people see me in it. How are you, mate?
I'm good. I've got a Scooby-Doo top on for Halloween. As we went over last week, this is my favourite time of year. I'm buzzing. I'm loving life. And I'm very much using it as a distraction from my football team. How are you?
I need to get Samaritans on the floor ASAP, Rocky. I can't take this. I really cannot take this. Just when you think that things are like getting better, they just instantly your parade is pissed upon.
We're off to the races early with this one.
It is like what's the point? What is the point?
Well, we will be getting into the reason that Adam is currently feeling like this, because yes, we will be dissecting the 2-1 loss that Hearts suffered at Ibrox.
Do we have to do this?
Apparently Apparently we do have to. I don't know why. We're crazy for doing it, but hey, we're here. We're just going for it. But first, we're going to speak about the other results that happened over the weekend to try and delay speaking about.
It just adds to the depression, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it does too. So, first of all, we're kicking off with probably the biggest news of the weekend in terms of Scottish football as a whole. Steve McLean managed his last game as St Johnstone manager as St Mirren ran roughshod over them 4-0, very comfortable winners. Motherwell, in a very dramatic game, clawed it back to 3-3 against Ross County in the final 10 minutes as Malky Mackay must have thought, right, we're in a result here. There's 8 minutes left and I've got a 2-goal cushion. But no, Livingston, our opponents for Wednesday night, must be the first team in history to not win before playing Hearts, as Dundee got up to 4th position with a 2-0 win in Livingston. And then the last Saturday game, Celtic didn't have quite the same result as they did when they came to Edinburgh last weekend, as Nick Montgomery's Hibs drew 0-0 at home. And then the only other game that was left on the weekend, just before us on the Sunday, probably the only other team who currently are in worse situation than us, Aberdeen lost to their former manager, Derek McInnes, at Kilmarnock 2-0. What did you make of the other games?
Absolutely baffled as to how Hibs held Celtic in a 0-0 draw, first and foremost. I don't know whether it's because Celtic, there was so much taken out of Celtic with a draw against Atletico Madrid. I thought they were actually really good that night, annoyingly good. But I mean, the shock they play us after the internationals and absolutely batter us, play their heart out against Atletico and somehow can't beat Hibs. Absolutely embarrassing. You're right about Livingston. I can't remember a team that's ever lost before they play us.
Yep.
Usually it's on an absolutely rotten run and then they'll pluck a result from nowhere directly before taking us on. So that should be great for us. More on that later. Motherwell 3, Ross County 3. I mean, if ever there was a coupon buster, this was your game.
Yeah.
6 goals in what? Half an hour?
Yeah.
Am I right in saying that? There's no goals in an entire hour, and then all hell broke loose.
Yep.
So they just love late goals at Fir Park, obviously with that Celtic game as well, just still ringing in the Motherwell fans' ears. If only they didn't, succumb to late losses, or in this case, rescuing precious points right at the end. And St Johnstone, we are lucky that St Johnstone are absolutely honking jobbies, because I would have the fear of a dreaded drop. However, there's absolutely no chance that happens with St Johnstone in the league, because they are abysmal.
Did you see Steve McLean's interview after it?
Absolutely sensational.
That's a man who knew he was sacked. So that's
what I was going to say. And if he didn't know he was sacked, that's one of the key reasons as to why he was sacked. St Mirren, I'm just looking at the league table here, McIver. We are 7 points behind St Mirren in 3rd, and they have a game in hand.
They're the only other good team outside the Old Firm this season.
St Mirren Football Club. St Mirren.
We're 10 games in. Everybody calm down.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
fine.
And Kelly 2, Aberdeen 0.
Yeah.
I did think it was a good result for us, but then I realised that Aberdeen are abysmal, just like we are. And Kelly, my top 6 candidates finally registering points, which is quite something. Hilarious that Derek McInnes, former manager, Marley Watkins, former Aberdeen, scores the second goal, like Matty Kennedy in amongst the ranks. It's just
2018 Aberdeen coming back to bite Aberdeen.
Oh, it's a good laugh. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't announce the signing of Gary Mackay-Steven just before they played Aberdeen.
Yeah.
But no, that is quite funny. Elsewhere in the league, I look at it and just think that like Sunday's result hurts so much more because what could have been and like what it just like what it could have potentially led to, or just it's so annoying that we've pissed these points away.
Well,
and it's our doing, it's our own doing, which is what makes it 10 times worse.
The points that we pissed away were at Ibrox, a very happy hunting ground for us
it's right up there
in the last 150 years of our existence.
Any further west than Hart Hill, and I have the fear.
Yeah, that's fair. Very fair. So, we were, of course, showing the team that we're going to take on Rangers at Ibrox, and it was a big announcement because there was a change of shape for Stephen Naismith. He got rid of the 4 at the back, and Hearts lined up as Xander Clark in goals, a back 3/5 of Cochrane, left wing back, Afaya, right wing back, with a back 3 of Toby Civic, Frankie Kent, and Kai Rolls, a 3 of Benny Beningame, Callum Neuenhoff, and not Cammy Devlin, George Grant came in with a front 2 of Lawrence Shankland and Kenny Vargas in the Josh Ginnelly role. What did you make of the team when you saw it?
As negative a starting 11 as I could possibly remember, but was pleasantly surprised when we actually did get into the match. Again, this is kind of why you don't read into the team sheet too much. We obviously knew that Alex Lowry was ineligible, so George Grant coming in for him made perfect sense, but I fully expected to see kind of Vargas and Forrest maybe on the flanks to exploit the fullbacks, because I think James Tavernier, as much as he's outrageous offensively, can be got at. Red Van Yilmaz hasn't played a lot of football. Again, you'd think that we could get in behind there. But it shows you what I know, because like that first 45 was really good.
It definitely was.
Yeah. 45,
first 45-ish.
And you wouldn't have thought it looking at that team, I'll be honest.
No.
I couldn't believe Cammy Devlin was dropped.
That was the big one. Everyone's response was, is he hurt? But I assume, like, judging by the fact that he came on, I assume it was just a tactical decision.
Which, again, like, I would have thought that Devlin would have been the one to give you that relentless pressing, but perhaps we were just looking on kind of keeping a solid structure throughout and not having anybody press just on their own.
Yeah.
And press, simultaneously as a collective, rather than just one going and the other dropping back and vice versa. So, yeah, really encouraged once we got into the game, because I'll be honest, I had the absolute fear looking at that team, and they proved me wrong.
Well, they definitely did, and did it quickly as they got off to Adam Kennedy's patented fast start that he loves.
I love a fast start.
Albeit,
can I just say, sorry, can we caveat this? I love a fast start at Tynecastle.
Yeah, that's
the one city where I dread Hearts getting off to a fast start, because it usually leads to an absolute pummeling for the remaining, over an hour.
Yeah.
It's Glasgow. And yet here, it actually looked as though it was great. Like, this is what I dream of.
It was going well, because we get an early throw in 3 minutes in, as Afaya takes it, works it kind of across to the far side, rolls, plays it to Cochrane, who, as you said, gets at Tavernier. He touches inside and with his weak foot swings in a perfect ball to the back post that is just basically telling Lawrence Shankland, you don't need to do anything to this, just make sure you're there, and head it right across Jack Butland. There's not much Butland can really do. And In the opening 5 minutes, Hearts take the lead at Ibrox.
Absolutely astonished, but pleasantly surprised. Yeah, I mean, I spoke about obviously the width, and it's just an aerial mismatch with wee Yilmaz Simplaz. I had no idea what height he is, but up against Lawrence Shankland, an absolute no-brainer. And thankfully, he gets it. I mean, it's just a phenomenal header. It really is a wonderful header. Great ball from Alex Cochrane, as you say, on his weaker right foot. You wouldn't think it with the delivery, but he's obviously been told, get it to the back stick and just make the most of your aerial presence up against Yilmaz. And thankfully it's a top header, because Jack Butland has been Rangers' best summer signing by a country mile, and he has absolutely no chance. It's past him in a flash. Great header.
So you get off to the best start possible, but I think every single Hearts fan in the world went, oh shit, we've got 85 plus whatever to now deal with an onslaught that'll be coming.
Yeah, that'll just poke the bears, if you'll pardon the pun.
Yeah, exactly. And 5 minutes later, in the 10th minute, that felt like it was immediately going to be the case, as Dessers picks up the ball on the near side, fires a ball across the box. Somehow, Cantwell doesn't get to it, and it's very well cleared by Rolls. I very much thought, that's it, that'll go in, and we're right back to square one again. But it didn't, somehow.
I think I was thinking that for a good 80 plus minutes, to be honest with you. Do you know what? In saying that, though, like, Rangers did come forward and they did have their couple chances, but first half I thought we rode the wave pretty well, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, there's points in games where you think these little elements of luck, you begin to think that it's your day the longer that it goes on. And, like, I was really tetchy towards the end, because I was just thinking, please, I would give anything for these 3 points. But first half, I thought, we've done really, really well here.
Yeah.
But what I was surprised at probably most of all was the lack of tempo from a Rangers perspective to kind of really look to hurt us. I thought they were slow. I thought they were sluggish. And I felt like any threat that they did pose, we coped with pretty well for the most part, particularly in that first half, like I say.
Yeah, I think you can just tell that Celtic, it doesn't matter what Celtic do this season, they're winning the league. Like, Rangers are not going to win this league.
It's bizarre that we say that, even though the gap's been cut and Rangers have started really well under the new manager, but I do agree with you. Like, I do think he will. I'll be interested to see what happens in January, what funds he'll have in January. True. And then when he starts bringing his own players in, perhaps next summer, if there's yet another rebuild.
Yeah, next year he can do really interesting.
Yeah, because he seems like he's got off to a really good start.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's just annoying because we could have been the ones to hand him his first defeat, but never mind.
We almost made it 2 goals to the good 2 minutes later, as there was a really nice passing move that eventually ends up with Shankland playing a long ball to Vargas, who finds a fire, who plays it back to Vargas, who plays through Sibic, who puts in quite a nice wee chipped ball, but there's no one there attacking it and ends up in Butland's arms. And then somehow it's still 1-0. Rangers swing in a corner. It's met by Connor Goldson. Clark then, as a result, dives towards the corner that Goldson's head is going towards, but it ends up hitting off Dessers, and it's trickling towards, but this is why you put a guy in the post. Lawrence Shankland is there, and with literally millimetres, clears it, and it's still 1-0.
These factors where you start to think that it's your day, this was a key one.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my God, how has Dessers not scored that?
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that also thought, heading into the game, I've slated Cyril Dessers from pillar to post. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that he's going to tuck one today. And then as soon as this chance goes a begging, you think, oh, hang on a second. Like, he's not going to get many better than that, you'd hope.
Yeah.
It's outrageous from Lawrence Shankland. I mean, this is a guy who the fan base have criticised for most of the season so far, said he's looked disinterested or whatever. You can have your little conspiracy theories that he scored against Celtic. He's now put in an outrageous performance at Ibrox. Perhaps he's playing for that move because it's against the big two. I'm not going to go there. But what I will say is 2-2 now. It's great to see him back to his best. And here he contributes just as much in a defensive sense as he had done previously in an offensive one. And that earlier chance that you alluded to, his frustration I absolutely loved, where it's just like, if that ball from Civic had just been that little bit neater, it could have potentially been in. And it's these fine margins, like I say, that some go for you, some don't. But I think after half an hour, we couldn't really have complained.
Yeah, that's very fair. And then we almost were celebrating again as there's a big stramash in the 32nd minute where we have about 4 chances to score.
Oh my God.
Rangers don't clear 3 times, and then eventually, after all the stramash, it ends up at Kenny Vargas's feet, who fires over. Now, I want to kind of, because this is the only real highlight where Vargas is at the point. I want to get your opinion on Vargas, because I've seen...
No, because I wanted to talk about Vargas.
Yeah, especially today, as we record this on Monday, there's been talk about him on Twitter. So that is him now played 12 games for Hearts, a mix of starts and sub-appearances. So far, he's got no goal contributions. And friend of the podcast, Richard Cobb, today on Twitter said that Garan Cuyol had a bigger impact in 8 games than Vargas has had in the 12. However, he did caveat with the fact that because Richard's down in London and working, he mostly has seen this season through highlights packages and kind of just general footage on Twitter. So what a lot of the positives of Vargas isn't really seen in highlights packages yet, because it's mostly been a lot of running, not giving up on challenges, and they don't tend to make highlights packages. But I was interested in getting your thoughts, because I will be honest, at this moment, just because you're so stressed and stuff like that, I did get really annoyed at him, and I was starting to be like, I need you to start contributing something in terms of goals. But I will say, I've been very happy with the rest of his stuff.
I'm pretty much in the same camp as you. I think he does put in a tireless shift at points. I like his work rate. I like his enthusiasm. I like that little bit of tenacity he's got. I think he's got some fire in his belly. But unfortunately, he's just not had anything to show for it yet.
Yeah.
I'm desperate for him to score, because I honestly do believe that all it takes is just one. And look, again, over the past couple of years, I'm developing a more human understanding of professional footballers. This is a young man who has flown half the way around the world from bloody Costa Rica. I mean, he won't be able to understand the finest of Queen's English, never mind Scottish people trying to speak English to him. He's in a strange country, a cold country, where the weather can't make its mind up. The Scran is either tremendous or dreadful, and yet he's expected to perform for an angry fan base.
Yeah, playing in a team that is massively underperforming under a manager who has no previous experience.
Such a transitional phase. The club's 150th anniversary.
Has to replace a guy who was one half of the best partnership in our lifetime.
Exactly. So you've got all these factors that just get overlooked because he's Kenneth Vargas. He's got a cool name. He's Raj. He's got a necktie, and he's from Costa Rica.
Running at people all the time. Yeah.
So I think we all just need to rein it in. Look, I'd love nothing more than for him to get the winner on Wednesday night, for instance, ahead of that game at Hampden. Or if he gets the winner at Hampden, even better.
Yeah.
But let's just bide our time. The beauty of this deal is we have the option to buy.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have to exercise that option. So the club have done the right thing for once and taken their time, not being forced into just giving this, is it Herediano? Is that his club?
I think that's it, yeah.
Club. Just not giving them some fee that we've paid over the odds for, some 5-year, 4-year deal, whatever. We're taking our time, we're assessing him, seeing how he performs over the year, and we'll make a decision after that.
Yeah, absolutely. There was 2 big things left in this first half. One of them, Shanklin shoots for his own half and nearly scores.
I tell you, that is not a bad effort. That's
not at all.
And as they mentioned on Hearts TV, he's done it for Dundee United. I seem to remember a goal for Ayr at Somerset where he kind of hits it on the half volley. It's not a million miles away. I like it. I don't see anything wrong with that. If the goalkeeper's off his line
and you had no one in front of you,
and he feels as though he's capable, then by all means, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. End of the day, if it had been 5-10 yards to the right and ended up in the net, we'd all be going, "Oh my God, it's the best goal I've ever seen. It's ridiculous. I've never seen a goal like Ibrox like that. Yada yada yada. It must be the best goal that Hearts have ever scored on the road, etc. etc." So don't mind that bit of ambition. Like to see this selfish striker play, and it looks as though he's back, which is great.
Right? Can they all be lovely? Happy times, because this is where the first.
Sorry, can I just say McIver as well? Sam Lammers had a chance in that first half where he balloons it over the bar. Yeah. And I mean, he literally, I genuinely think he nearly put it out the stand.
Yeah.
And again, all these little factors, that's another one where I think they are honking. We have nothing to worry about, surely. Yeah. This could be the day where we not only win at Ibrox, but manage to keep a clean sheet at Ibrox.
Yeah, absolutely. But
as you say, toward the end of that first half, that thought was just taken rapidly out of my head.
Facts start to show as fourth official holds up a wee board that says the number 2 on it and holds up and goes, "There's 2 minutes to play, lads." When the clock hits 47, Lawrence Shanklin shoots for the edge of the box. And by that, I mean the edge of the defending Rangers box. It is deflected, and I think everyone goes, "Right, that's it then. We've played 10 seconds. The other week, we had a derby where we had 15 seconds left and we were attacking. The ref blew early. So you're like, right, okay, definitely now. But inexplicably, the game just keeps getting played and played and played. And what that means is that we're at a massive disadvantage because we've pushed everybody forward. Alex Cochrane has got a double-up situation. And Todd Cantwell gets into the box, cuts past, and Toby Sibbick, in I guess I think this is going to prevent a goal, swipes the leg of Cantwell. It's obviously a penalty. The frustration from a Hearts fan perspective is, why on earth is the game still being played? However, Toby Sibbick is proven to be an absolute genius as James...
Don't you dare give me that. That is as blatant a penalty kick as I've ever seen. And I was screaming, I'm going, no! You've undone all that hard work.
But he didn't. He knew what he was doing. He was like, Todd Cantwell's scoring here. James Tavernier's going to miss. I know that Tavernier's going to miss here. And Tavernier steps up and hits the post.
For somebody that hits the deck as regularly as Todd Cantwell does, I'm thinking, don't even touch him. Just let him get that shot away and hope that Xander Clark pulls off a superb save. I'm thinking, what are you doing,
He's
man?
A genius, Adam. We didn't concede. What a genius Toby Sibbick is. That was all going through his head. He wasn't just lashing out in a moment of madness. He was going, I think this is going to go in, so I'll swipe his leg and Tavernier will get 2 in his head and he'll hit the post and miss.
What's happening with Big Tobes?
I just think it's what's happening with everybody, where we're in a setup that currently is like no one has confidence, no one has belief.
And in fairness, like, he's been filling in at right back, but this is a game where he's one of the centre halves.
Not at this point, though. He's the right back now because Ofaya had to come off and Kingsley
right enough.
Goes in the middle.
Yeah, right enough. Yeah, and again, it happens on the left-hand side. Yeah, I forgot about that Kingsley change.
So this is the thing. For the first 38 minutes, Sibbick was really good, solid in his natural right centre-half position. Then he gets moved to right back and does this.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. Like,
I'm not defending Toby Sibbick, by the way, but I can already feel my mentions filling up.
No, right? I know you're not. But that's what I was going to say. Is there that much of a difference between right back and right centre back?
I think in a back 3/5, yeah. Because Sibbick's out of position when he's running back because he's been pushing up as a wing back. So I think he's just like, shit! I'm not meant to be here. So he just like the only covering defender is Cochrane, the other wing back.
That's because Alex Cochrane is absolutely everywhere. Me and my old man were watching it and we were pissing ourselves laughing. I was like, I love Alex Cochrane.
Yep.
And he was like, he kicks absolutely everything, doesn't he? He was like, yep, any ball, any man,
That's the thing, actually.
Blade of grass. I love that guy.
I undersold Cochrane where I'm talking about that chance where in the 12th minute Dessers fires the ball across. Cochrane just slides.
Incredible block.
Cochrane slides from about 10 yards and just keeps sliding and manages to make the block.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, the main frustration is, why is that being played on? Why are we still going? However, thankfully, justice is served. We go into the half 1-0. What are you thinking at this point?
Again, a missed penalty. I'm thinking Dessers has missed that from that absolute sitter. James Tavernier has missed a penalty. This is it. This is it. I'm thinking this is 10 years of waiting, near enough. Oh, I think it was August 2014 in the Championship, Osman Sow. But over 10 years, April 2012 or May 2012, in the top tier. I'm thinking this is it. This is it. And so Hearts as well, because I didn't give them a chance. You didn't give them a chance. I thought we're going to concede at least 3 with this setup. The manager under pressure, handing round the corner, just been battered off Celtic the week prior. I thought this is actually we're going to do this. We're going to do this.
Well,
and can I just say, I thought we were going to do this, but I also recognised that Rangers would come out all guns blazing. You need only look at the man in the dugout, McIver, who knows exactly what it's like to be a Rangers player with that capacity crowd, with that club's expectations, like trailing to an old firm team at home in particular is unacceptable. I don't know why anybody expected any different, because I see fans come out and say, oh, well, high press attacking football, look at the second half stats where we had something like 22% possession, barely got out of our own half. Yeah, because we're up against a Rangers team that have the opportunity to close the gap to Celtic at the top of the table, who haven't lost under the new manager. They know you conceded a goal. We've scored the first goal of the Philippe Clement era as an opposition team. And you expect them to, what? Just sit and be happy that they're getting beat off Hearts? Are you joking? An out-of-form Hearts? Why on earth would they be content with that? Did anybody really expect any different?
Well, I didn't expect any different. And I'm not going to suddenly... We've been doing this podcast now. You mentioned it to me, that it's 4 years since we started the podcast this past week.
I did see that. That was a nice little memory came up on the Facebook stories, where that day that we went down to Killie covering the women's team when we were signed with the Hearts hierarchy and now they hate our guts.
But I've been sat here for 4 years saying that I don't read into games against the Old Firm. I never expect us to have any results against the Old Firm, particularly when we go across the country into Glasgow. So I'm not going to suddenly sit here and contradict myself where I'm like, why didn't we just go and push Rangers for 90 minutes? Because you can't do that, as I said under Nielsen.
Of course you can.
Of course you can't do that. What you can do, however, is not suddenly change your entire system to needlessly negate them. So this is what my issue is. Okay. I am absolutely fine with us having a game plan to sit in for that second half. I even mean the full second half. If the game plan is get a goal first half and then just trust in your defensive system, I do not understand why that requires a change of system and moving the out ball completely to a absolute nondescript area of the pitch where he became completely ineffective. Vargas did not light the world on fire in that first half. I don't even think he really touched the ball.
So what are you saying? By having George Grant on the left and Vargas on the right, that was wrong?
Yes, because I think that it meant that Shankland was the only out ball and has the problem that we've been seeing under Naismith. He's so isolated because, as we say, Shankland's strength isn't his speed, right? I don't think
if he had speed, he wouldn't be here.
Yeah, exactly. So the point is, whilst I don't think Vargas was setting the heather alight and you were like, oh my God, Goldson, can he deal with him? What it meant is that when we clear the ball, when we're defending and you send a ball up the park, you've got a little Costa Rican man who can run really fast, running through the middle in that Ginnelly role, where we saw Ginnelly be used whenever we went to Glasgow. He would be on the shoulder of the last defender, try to run in behind. Moving to a 5-4-1 like we did, one, it meant that Cochrane, who was having such a good game, had to suddenly be deeper because he had a guy right in front of him. And the guy that was right in front of him no longer could do the thing he was really good at in the first half or give the team that thing. So I disagree with this notion that, oh, well, why did we go into a defensive system or mindset against Rangers at Ibrox? I'm like, I totally understand why. Because you're not going to be able to... If you push, they create space, gaps start to emerge and you get stretched.
But do you leave 2 up? Is that not still too ambitious at that stage?
I would have maybe dropped Shankland into like a 10. So have
and just have Vargas as the last man.
Like a 4-4-1-1, if you know what I mean. Like, literally just tell...
And then who's on the right flank?
Well, this is what I was going to say. What it means is that you probably have to play an out-of-position George Grant at, like, right mid or something, right? And that would be an issue.
Him on the left, and then you've got...
Potentially, right? Yeah. Potentially, right? And I was going to say, that would be an issue that managers wouldn't do. However, as we're going to learn later on, Stephen Naismith seems to have no problem playing industrious, energetic centre midfielders in a random position on the right-hand side, as we'll get to with a substitute that he makes. But, as you say, Rangers come out the traps, and the first 3 things are Rangers highlights. The 49th minute, Lundstrom hits an effort from the edge of the box, just wide of the far post. Clark probably has it covered, but...
Should do better, I think, with that effort, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
So if they're gonna hit them like that from rage, then we'll just... That's fine. We're more than happy with that.
Definitely. The 56th minute, Rangers gets a flurry of chances similar to what we had in the first half that ends up...
I couldn't believe they didn't score. Was this the one that fell to Lammers right at the end?
That ends up with one of those moments in football where Lammers is just steamrolling his way through and the ball just inexplicably keeps bouncing back to him. And then the moment he gets space, as you said, he just balloons it over the bar from the penalty spot, basically. He is so shit, and he is going to score against us this weekend.
I could not believe that Todd Cantwell was sacrificed before he was.
Crazy.
I then thought to myself, oh my God, he's taking the wrong player off. This is it. Again, all of my stars were aligning on Sunday as I was watching this. I thought, he is having an absolute nuke and he's still on the park. This is it. We're going to do it. How wrong I was.
60th minute, Clark does what Xander Clark does and flaps it across, which ends up at Raskin's foot, who hits it, and half the stadium thinks it's in as it hits the side.
I thought it was in.
Same. However, that is actually the end of his afternoon, as he seemed to have twisted weirdly, I guess, and I think it was his ankle he was holding, but he ends up getting stretchered off. So I've not actually seen any update in the last 24 hours as to
neither.
How bad that is. However, then we get in the 68th minute our only chance of the half, really, as Cochrane finally has a wee bit of space and puts another excellent ball into the box that is initially, I think everybody goes, oh, he's overhit that. But it's actually to the exact same place where Shankland was in the first half. Shankland fires it back across, but it's one of those moments.
It's a wonderful volley as well, could I just say, from
Shankland.
It's literally like pinpoint. And this is where you're wanting Vargas to just be in that vicinity. Just and anything.
Maybe if we hadn't fucking changed shape, that's exactly where he would be. But no, the man who's there is the man who, it's like, of course it's him. Just the fucking narrative dictates that, of course, it's Alan Forrest, who instead of guessing that the ball's going to be played across, he thinks the ball's going to get pulled back. So what happens is Alan Forrest is just standing in the penalty spot as a perfect ball rolls in front of him.
Inch perfect. Yeah. I mean, I could stab it home from there.
Yeah. Just
so annoying.
Considering how bad we were in the second half, offensively, it's like you have to take that chance.
Yeah, that was it. That ultimately. We take that. Job done. That's it.
Game's
job done. Absolutely, no doubt about it.
In the 75th minute, Lundstrom hits an effort from the edge of the box, but it's quite easily collected by Clark. And then 5 minutes later, Lundstrom hits another effort for the edge of the box, and that goes just narrowly wide.
Just keep them coming.
So you're thinking, right, just keep them coming. Now, at this point, in the 86th minute, I would like to raise the fact that Toby Sibbick has had to come off hurt, as has a fire. We've already put Kingsley on. So you're thinking, right, we see that there's about to be a double change made before Sibbick, and it's going to be Peter Haring and the returning Yutaro Oda. He's about to come on, and you imagine be in that position that Vargas was in and stretch them. It's pace, coming on and just hoping for an out ball. Sibbick, however, gets hurt. So that changes the double substitution. Oda's sent back to the bench, and Peter Haring comes on, but Andy Halliday comes on. Now, what I then assumed would happen was that Ken would get chucked out to right wing back, but now that we're playing this 5/4 right back, would play a 2 of Kingsley and Cochrane, and Halliday would go to left back. And in my head, I was like, that's not ideal in fucking any situation ever.
Ours must be the only team in world football to have 3 left footers on the back 4.
Yeah.
Like, who else does?
This is a nightmare, but fine. It's at least defenders. And then what I see happen is little Cammy Devlin, who has come on as a sub, runs across, and genuinely, I said out loud, oh, he must be delivering a note to somebody. Because I was like, there's no way he's going over there for any other fucking reason. But no. And as Laurie Borthwick, that's the ship name, Laurie Dunsire and Robert Borthwick both incredulously say, Cammy Devlin's now at right wing back. What's going on, right? Because we're going to get into the next few bits, which are all about individual mistakes. But Adam, what's that? What the fuck's that?
He's got a habit of doing this. Who else was it he put out there?
I can't even remember. I can't remember. It
was another ridiculous shout, and you're like, what on earth?
Well, he played Cammy Devlin at like right mid/right centre mid against St Mirren. And it was like, we just have no one on this
That's what I'm thinking
now.
of. Yeah. So the fan base have slated them for that decision. And again, I can't reiterate this enough. We are over a decade without a victory at Ibrox in the Scottish top tier. And we decide that Cammy Devlin will be the one to go over to right wing back. As we try and see funny. Out the fact
it's quite funny,
but it's not. Like in the final exchanges.
Like such a pivotal result. We're playing Cammy Devlin at right wing back.
Honestly, like this is where I sort of want look. I'm trying to look at this as rationally as I can. There are lots of people that are very angry at Stephen Naismith. I'm very angry at the squad that Stephen Naismith has to play with because I don't believe it's as good as people make out. And this is exactly a reason why. Nathaniel Atkins has been out injured. Toby Sibbick is filled in at right back. I am sick to death of saying this, McIver. We have needed a right back for at least a season. And we're still not signed one. Nicky Devlin was there in the summer on a free. But no, little Aberdeen, who picked us to European football, went, hold on a second, Nicky, we can give you 6 games playing in the conference. And Nicky Devlin's gone, yeah, no thanks, I'm going to ditch Livingston, that shitty Astro, and the Tony Macaroni for that. And then we went after this Japanese bloke who didn't even sign, and there were seemingly no other targets that Hearts lined up.
That's it. We've got 2 targets, and if they don't come in, we're fucked.
What club in world football goes to sign a player in a position, identifies 2 targets, misses out on them, and goes, we tried our hardest?
We'll get a guy on loan for Brighton, it's fine.
Exactly. Who's a centre half? He's not even a right back.
Saying it out loud, Cammy Devlin, right wing back, broke me completely. Just actually saying it out like not even Cammy Devlin playing at right wing back when we're playing Brecon in a cup. It's like we're away at Ibrox, defending a lead in the last 10 minutes, and we get to the 86th minute, and you're like, right, we're doing it.
Let's just get this bit because I will get really angry.
A corner swung in. It's cleared. You're like, this is great. I want to say, actually, because we're about to speak about individuals negatively, I want to say, I thought Kai Rolls was great in this game.
I thought the back three were excellent.
Yeah.
I really did. I don't know if that's because Rangers were really poor or because we'd actually had a game plan and had stuck to it, but I thought, as a defensive unit, even with Gabby Devlin filling in at right wing back.
Gabby Devlin claims that. Yep, I'm a part of that defensive unit.
We've done really well here.
I just felt like
Rolls
was everywhere, and like his positioning was really good. And he won headers.
Again, like that's the Kai Rolls that Hearts slapped a 5-year contract in front of, and we're hoping to make millions off of with these performances for Australia and Qatar.
I was very chuffed for him, but it's played. I will be honest, for half a second I went, oh shit, somebody's fallen over. Is it a penalty?
I didn't even look at that. I was too busy looking at the ball.
Oh, so I noticed it as it swung in, but then the ball gets cleared, and in my head I'm like, oh, that's fine. And Beaton turns away. So I was like, all right, okay, it's just a coming together, we're fine. Then the hand goes up. Do not take the throw in. Whoever is about to take the throw in for Rangers, there's a break. We're here in VAR. And then as soon as, I think it is just an expectation now with football fans that as soon as the referee is called to the monitor,
100%. As soon as he was over, I was like, that's it. And given that it's him, and given that it's them,
exactly.
Absolute certainty.
And what had gone on in the first half. You're thinking, right, okay, what's happened here? And this is where you need to, and Stephen Naismith, if you want to listen to this, mate, please do. This is where you need to know the laws of the game. Because just as the corner is about to be swung in, John Lundstrom blocks Peter Haring. And what happens is, as he's done that block, Connor Goldson has run around the back of Peter Haring. So Peter Haring goes, it's fine. I'll just reach round and grab Connor Goldson's top. It's fine. Now, I understand. Connor Goldson gets gets his shirt pulled backwards and he falls forwards. But it is like the most stonewaller of stonewaller penalties. It's one of those things where it's like, how does Beaton not see that in real time? Because when you watch the VAR, he's staring at it. Like he's out on the edge of the box staring at it. So it's, of course, given. And Tavernier is definitely not going to miss 2 penalties in the game. He just smashes it down the middle. It's 1-0. By this point, by the way, I will say, the whistle blow he stopped was in the 87th minute. This is now the 90th.
Oh, they took a while. Took the piss.
And for all that trying, it's 1-0 in the 90th minute. Adam Kennedy, take the floor.
I'm thinking a point at Ibrox is a point more than I would have suspected.
Yeah.
However,
here we go. It's happening, lads. We've waited 2 years, but we're getting a run.
Peter Haring. My goodness gracious me. What on earth is that? Look, I'm doing very, very well to stay very, very reserved.
I will quickly say, before you get into this, the law thing I'm talking about, because Naismith comes out after and goes, it's not a penalty, there's a block. Law 12 says that a block is valid when the ball is not in play. The block happens before Tavernier swings the ball in. The block is completely legit.
McIver, it's a penalty all day.
Yeah, it's a stonewall penalty.
It's lazy defending. It's sheer stupidity. And again, this is where I can understand fans wanting to attack Stephen Naismith, but I feel sorry for the guy. Peter Haring has ultimately played with Stephen Naismith, and they were arguably our best 2 players in our rank rotten Hearts team under Craig Levein.
I think they easily were. Them and Smith.
Peter Haring could have just cost Stephen Naismith his job. I don't want to get too deep, but that is ultimately what we're looking at here. Yes, we're not expected to go to these places and gain points. So ultimately, it could come down to the Livingston game in midweek.
Which I think is the case.
But say they won at Ibrox. We'd enter that Livingston game full of confidence with a belief that, we'll take care of them, not a problem. Now, we might not. And he's ultimately got that win at Ibrox in the bank. But say we don't beat Livingston on Wednesday now, and we have chucked it at Ibrox, and more importantly, Peter Haring's chucked it at Ibrox. How could it be that Peter Haring could have lost Stephen Naismith his job when the 2 were so tight on the park? I cannot believe what he's thinking. What goes through your head to do that? We're
Especially
1-0
within
up.
VAR world.
Exactly. They literally look for things like this. They look at little instances throughout every single set piece. You're at Ibrox, play against one of the only two teams that matter in this country to the vast majority of people, and you decide to do that. We could have gone back along the road with 3 valuable, precious points that we've worked bloody hard for, but no. And then I don't even, like, whatever happens after happens after. But that's only because we're at our most vulnerable, because we've just conceded. And we shouldn't have. It's sheer stupidity. It's daft, it's stupid, it's incompetent, it's lazy, is what it is. And this is a guy that is hanging on to his memories at Hearts by his fingernails. Because as far as I'm concerned, he should have been emptied a long time ago. At least last season, if not the season before, at the end of our first season back in the top tier. Yep, thanks for your service, but catch you after. Unbelievable. But again, we've got nobody else, because this squad is not as good as the vast majority of us think it is.
See, I think it's a good squad. I just think, because, for example, was Denham on the bench?
Yes.
This is what I mean. It's like, that's your options. You've got Halliday, Haring, and Denham. 2 players.
So I don't blame him for going with the more experienced pro.
No,
but
totally
there is no, like, you cannot excuse the more experienced pro for doing something like that.
I'm trying to see who else we had on the bench. So on the bench, we had
Boyce, Denham, and Oda were the other outfielders that didn't come on alongside Michael McGovern.
I would have brought Boyce on. I would have brought Boyce on and just told him to sit in the middle. Boyce is good enough.
Liam Boyce sits that deep anyway. He's pretty much a midfielder.
Yeah, I don't understand why Boyce doesn't get a minute there. And then, just as if it wasn't bad enough.
Oh my God. I walked out as soon as I saw this, because I was just, no, what's the point?
So, I think, listen, and I understand why, and I'll get into it a wee bit more, but I think a certain individual here isn't he getting the criticism that he probably should for this. So,
interesting.
Tavernier swings a ball in from the near side that is just, I don't know if he's got his feet wrong or if he doesn't think the ball's coming in, but Frankie Kent is like nowhere near in the right position.
No.
And substitute Danilo heads in. Now, I agree with you. I think Kent, for the majority of that game, much like he has been for the majority of this season, was excellent, right? But I do think there's been not enough. Like, I've not really seen anybody criticise Kent for this.
I totally agree with you.
Like, of all players, I'm like, oh, well, Kent will win a header.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine.
Oh, you'd put your mortgage on him winning that header.
And I just think he's so poor in that instant.
Provided that he's in the correct position. Because, as you say,
I don't know what he's doing with his feet.
He's a step or two forward that he's leaning back and ultimately can't. And I'm not being funny. At the end of the day, it is a free header for a £6 million striker, pretty much in the 6-yard box, near enough. So there's only ever going to be one outcome. Yeah. Even despite the late manner of the game, the pressure that Rangers are under. So annoying. I honestly would have rather have gone on Sunday and got shagged 5-0 and not laid the glove on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It hurts far more because we're 1-0 up pretty much on 89 minutes.
Yeah.
And we get beat 2-1. So how can that happen?
This is why I was really glad I'm hosting this week. Because I feel like I have nothing to say about this game in terms of what it means for anybody associated with the club. Because I don't think you can criticise Naismith too much for it. I think there's criticism to be made for him, but I don't think this is a game that goes, see, he should be sacked. Simultaneously, I don't think this is a game where you go, oh, look, this squad is shit, or this squad's really good. I think it was like, for me, as you said, generally the defensive unit was really strong. I thought Neuenhoff was fantastic. How can you go from that Celtic performance to that Rangers performance?
I don't know. I don't know.
Crazy.
I even thought Benny was pretty good.
Benny was great.
Considering he, again,
so good.
Like previous performances, you're thinking, is this the end of Benny Beningame? But I'd love to see those two start again on Wednesday night, Beningame and Neuenhoff.
Shankland was great, as you say. So I just feel like
It's just stupid individual errors, McIver.
But also a poor decision to change a system that was working. So that's why I'm like, it's very much...
But he's got to do something. I mean, he's damned if he does, he's damned if he doesn't.
True, and that's what I mean. It's one of those situations where if he doesn't change it and the same thing happens, the criticism would be,
why do you not change it?
Yeah, but that is what happens with a football manager. Like that is the job role. But that's why I'm not going to be... It's really shit for a podcast, but I'm like, I don't think this dictates anything. What I think does dictate everything is this Wednesday night. The day after we release this episode.
It's massive. It's a must win. We have to win.
I think it's more than that. I think it's a must win, and we have to play well. I don't think anybody will take 1-0 where we've got a bit lucky, but we're not playing very well.
I think we will win 1-0. There you go.
I'm fine with 1-0 if it's one of the games where it's like, how have we not scored more here? And
if Kenneth Vargas misses 10 sitters.
Yeah, exactly. I think it needs to be one of just those very comfortable, professional wins against a Livingston side that is somehow doing worse than us.
I was going to say, do you really expect that though? Because I don't. I think Livy are going to come with a game plan. I think they're going to come in, sit, frustrate. Livingston didn't beat us last season. So, sorry, we didn't beat Livingston last season. So that is a worry. I don't think this is the type of game that we're after midweek, if I'm honest.
I don't think it's the type of game that Kenny Vargas specifically is after, because he benefits from getting in behind. He'll not be able to get in behind anybody against a Martindale Livingston team.
Honestly, we should be entering this game in such high spirits, and yet it just feels as low as it has throughout the entire season so far.
I'm going to focus on positives from that game, where it's like, if Naismith sets us up right,
it was bang on.
Yeah, he can do it. If players are switched on and we're not having to constantly reshuffle and we're not having to bring in guys that haven't played regularly, if we can just keep a team on the park that Naismith wants to play at home against a team who has been in shocking form this season and a team that we should be beating, I'm gonna go with the fact that we're going to win 3-0. Right?
Wow.
I'm just putting it out there. I'm like,
wow.
Come on.
Is this the first time ever that you've offered a more optimistic prediction than I have?
I think it might be, but I'm just like, willing it into existence. I'm willing it into existence where I'm just like,
3-0.
Have that Ross County performance under Naismith where you just suddenly are like, what's happening? We're blowing this lot away.
Who's scoring those 3 goals? Shankland hat-trick.
No, Alex Cochrane, first goal scorer for me, just to make me happy. Shankland, and then to seal it, Kenny Vargas.
I knew you were going to say that. Good that we've been talking about him. But I'm going to say 1-0 Vargas.
Okay, fair enough. Right, we've got it. But
Shankland's performed against the big boys. He'll earn his move off the back of that. He just need to turn up for Livy. 100%. But this is it for Hermano Loco.
Yes. But then we have the biggest game where, by the way, I will say this. If we somehow win on Sunday, no one will give a fuck about what happened this past Sunday.
I am begging Hearts. If ever there is a time, this is it. Potentially Hibs or Aberdeen in the final. Oh my God.
It's going to be Hibs. Let's be honest. It's going to be Hibs.
But we've not won this competition in mine or my father's lifetime. Yeah. This is it. We are all these bastards after what they've given us at the weekend. Do not come home from Hampden feeling like that again. Come on, Hearts.
Prediction.
I'm
going 4-0 them. Lamas and Dethers masterclass double each.
No, I'm going to go for a remake of May 98. Maybe not in the same scenario, but 2-1 Hearts. Screw it. Why not? Why not, McIver?
We've both gone optimistic in different games and different scenarios.
Shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you're amongst the stars. Yeah, that's the plan.
Exactly. Well, we'll see what happens. So, after all of that, we have the quiz.
Now, you say, what camera than I was expecting?
I'm so proud of you.
I did well. I was going to go in on Peter Haring, but there's a part of us that's
I
A
think
little bit too sentimental.
the Cammy Devlin moment broke us both, where it just made us
You
kind of
bastard. I can't believe you slipped that in there.
reevaluate the situation.
That's both you and Naismith's fault.
Yep, exactly. So, quiz, as ever, multiple choice.
I'm dreading this, but
2 normal questions.
I'm still spewing after the Who Am I last time out.
That's very true.
That is devastating.
I think you have a chance to either get 0 or all 5.
You know what that means?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Right. So we're starting with a multiple choice.
Oh, God.
Based on the last 12 top flight seasons, what is the average number of points Hearts have amassed after the first round of fixtures? Is it
the first round being 11 games? Sorry.
Yes. So this is taking place. If you imagine you're coming out of Tynecastle on Wednesday night.
Okay.
First round. This doesn't include the 2 seasons in the Championship. This is just top flight season. Is it A, 12? Is it B, 14? Is it C, 16? Or is it D, 18? So obviously, you could get 33.
Or nil point.
Or nil. Yes, exactly.
I'll be honest. 12, 14, 16, or 18. That's pretty low.
It's no great, is it?
But then I was going to say 19, 20 would have been cancelled out by, 21, 22? Mm-hmm. Who started really well then. Oh, God. I'm vying between 14 and 16. I'm going to be optimistic and say 16, even though it might be 14.
He's 1 for 1. It's 16. Yes.
Decent.
So an average point, which means...
Decent that I got it, but that's not a great tally, is it? After 11 games.
Even if we win on Wednesday night, we will be on 14.
Near that.
It's still 2 points off it. So,
and yet, our fans took one look at the fixtures and went, sign me up for that till October.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
Question number 2. And this comes from Mr. Adam Kennedy's Twitter.
Oh, Jesus. This can't be good.
Hearts last won at Ibrox, as you said, in the top flight back in 2012. But much like your bullshit question last week, where I had to get several things right for the first to get the point, what was the score and who were the Hearts goal scorers?
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to ask who scored for Rangers that day because I could not tell you.
No.
We won 2-1.
Correct.
Ian Black and Jamie Hamill?
Correct. He's done it. Yeah. You're now starting to see why I said that you might get your first ever 5 out of 5, because I had no idea what questions there.
I'm delighted you didn't ask me who scored for Rangers that day. I couldn't even tell you.
I want to say Jelic, but I can't remember. I can check for you right now. It was...
Funny if it was Naismith.
Stephen Davies.
Oh, Stephen Davies, was it?
That's who it was. So, true or false?
This will be the one I get wrong.
Yeah. Before the game at the weekend, James Tavernier had never scored against Hearts.
True.
Correct. You listened to your commentary. Well done.
I did.
Well done.
Which I found hard to believe.
Mentally. And then he missed that penalty and I was like, there's no fucking way he's going to go through another game. No, he ended up with a goal and assist. So, final question.
I'm flying here.
You're smashing it.
Come on.
This current management team of Stephen Naismith, Frankie McAvoy and Gordon Forrest have been in charge for 23 games in all competitions now. How many have they won?
Oh, God. I hate these type of questions.
I had to give you one bullshit one after your bullshit one to me last week.
Oh, I've got 7 in my head, but is it as high as that?
This is all competitions.
All comps, right. Okay, so we've won 2 league games this season. We've beaten Killie in the Cup. Oh, God almighty. County toward the back end of last season is 4. Rosenborg at home is 5. I think there must be other games. Oh, oh no. I was about to say St Johnstone the opening day, but that would be one of the two right at the start. Oh, I'm going to go with 7 and just think that I've forgotten 2.
The correct answer is 8.
Oh! Oh, that was agonizing. Oh, what were the 3 that I missed?
I don't know, but I have a lot of other stats for you.
Oh, you are kidding me on.
So,
Oh, that is a sickener.
23 games, won 8, drawn 5, lost 10.
Jesus.
Goals scored, 33. Goals against, 30. Win percentage, 34.
Yikes.
Right, I'm going to say this right now. If you get this, who am I? I'm going to give you that other one being a point within. Right? That's maybe setting you up for how hard this who am I is.
Jesus, I'm not. Oh, this is not good.
Right, here we go. Who am I? I have played in Scotland, Italy, France, Norway, and Switzerland. Across the 2 years I was at Hearts, I made 8 appearances. I played in a historic Europa League upset. And during my time at Hearts, I was most famously known for being dropped from a pre-season squad after my agent publicly called out the club for offering such a poor contract, my client may leave. Who am I?
I love shit like this. That last clue is so funny.
I will get this man's Wikipedia up.
8 appearances in 2 years?
Yes. Wikipedia says 7, but Transfermarkt says 8, and I'll go off Transfermarkt.
Well, I was about to say, if he's featured in some European upset, that'll be the other game that's missing, because it usually does the league games on Wiki. Oh my God.
You have your 2 questions, use them wisely.
I'm thinking, did you say Europa League upset or European upset?
I played in my career in a shock Europa League upset.
Europa League upset, right. So that's surely got to be Anfield. Is it? Oh, God. It must be, because Europa League, when did the Europa League become the Europa League? 2010?
All right,
thinking out loud here, I'm trying.
Wait.
The cogs are turning.
It was then called the UEFA Cup.
All right, okay. Oh, God.
I'll give you that, because that would have been bullshit if I just said, oh, yeah, it's actually the Europa League.
Oh,
no.
That really does change things, because now I have no idea. This could be anything. This could be Braga. This could be... Oh, Jesus. I'm going to have to narrow it down to the years, I think, because of the sheer low volume of appearances. So between what years, or when did they play for Hearts, McIver?
They played for Hearts between 2007 and 2009.
And there was a UEFA Cup upset.
Would you like the clues again?
Please.
I have played in Scotland, Italy, France, Norway, and Switzerland. Across 2 years at Hearts, I made 8 appearances. In my career, I played in a shock Europa League upset / UEFA Cup.
No.
During my time at Hearts, I was dropped from a pre-season squad after my agent publicly called out the club for offering a poor contract and threatened that my client would leave.
Listen to the bloody question, Adam. In my career.
See, I'm being lovely here. I'm not leading you down any garden path.
Thank you. I appreciate that. However, between 2007 and 2009 could be any fucker. Right. Okay. Oh, God. 8 appearances in 2 years.
8 appearances in 2 years.
Can I have the position that they played and just give me something?
This man was a goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper. 2007, 2009.
Goalkeepers rarely come up
Oh.
in Who Am I?
No. I think they made more appearances. I want to say, because it's the only figure that I've got in my head, so I'm just going to go with it. Is it? Is it the boy Basso? Is it Adrian Basso? Adrian Basso?
Is that your final answer?
I'm thinking Janos Balog would have played far more than those games. Kello, was Kello on the scene then? When did Kello play for Hearts? No, he was later, I think. It's not like a Steve Banks or something like that. I'm going to go Adrian Basso, but I have no idea.
So remember, if he gets this, I'm giving him the point either way for the teams. So it would be Adam's first ever 5 out of 5.
So it's not.
The correct answer is not Adrian Basso.
Oh.
It's Anthony Basso.
Oh.
So you, buddy, I'm giving you it because fuck the first name. You got the surname. You got Basso.
I couldn't remember his name.
He's finally, on a technicality, got his first 5 out of 5.
Come on, McIver. It's been a rough weekend.
He deserves it. Mate. He deserves it. So I'll explain.
What was his name? Anthony Basso.
Anthony Basso. He's a Frenchman. So
I remember him briefly, but I don't know. I thought it was Adrian Basso. Anthony Basso.
So he played for Viking in Norway, and when he was there, he played in the game. I can get the exact time in 05-06 UEFA Cup. They beat Monaco, and he played in goals during
Bloody hell!
He played.
He was where at Viking?
Yep.
Jesus H.
Crazy. He played for Udinese and a bunch of other French teams because he is French. And yeah, basically, the thing about the contract, it just says Basso was left out of the Hearts squad for the pre-season training camp in Germany, which raised serious questions over the future at the club.
Who was gaffer then?
Shaba, yes. And basically, he was dropped from the team towards the end of the season beforehand in 07-08, as it emerged that talks over a new contract had broken down. His agent publicly suggested that unless Hearts improve their contract offer, Basso may look to leave.
I got the right bloke, just the wrong name.
You did.
I'll take that.
Thankfully, this game is surnames, because sometimes you can't even remember first names generally.
Again, I remember him, but I don't, if that makes any sense.
As soon as I heard the name, I went, "Oh God, yeah, him."
Yeah. He's like one of them that's like not a cult hero amongst but when you think back to like random players when we were younger, you do think
he's very much the embodiment of the "Who Am I" segment,
without a doubt. Perfectly put.
So, how do you feel? Finally, your first 5 out of 5.
I mean, it's a dodgy 5. Let's be honest,
but you've still got it.
Yeah. I just fine margins, just like the weekend.
Exactly.
Fine margins in it.
Exactly.
Just that question, the one-off, that is annoying. But and again, not the right name. But I was thinking of a bloke.
And in fairness, though,
horrible.
I normally give it to you if you're one-off anyway.
Yeah, true.
So
true. It is
that's why I wanted to see what would happen with it. I was like, oh, he's close to getting it.
Jesus H. Yeah. Thanks. Anthony Basso.
Anthony Basso. There he is. Well, let us know if you got Anthony Basso and if you actually got 5 for 5 and got everything right, because that would be very impressive. But we hope you have enjoyed regardless. If you have, please share this about, leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. If you've been watching us have a breakdown over Cammy Devlin at right wing back and Adam being delighted with his first 5 out of 5 on YouTube, please leave a like, subscribe and comment. We're Perth to Paisley on all the socials, perthtopaisley@gmail.com if you want to fire us over anything over there. Adam, where can they get you on all the socials?
You can find me sharing highlights of Hearts 2-1 victory at Ibrox back in April 2012, alongside an Anthony Basso best bits at Adam T. Kendall. And what about yourself, mate?
It's just that highlights clip when they beat Monaco, and that's it. I am at DMcIver22. We'll be back next week to discuss all the fallout from the Livingston game, all the fallout from the semi-final at Hampden, and anything else that happens in between. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Come on, Hearts!